And you don't need this, correct?
I don't have a PowerPoint today.
Look at it. It's all up here.
It's all
All right here.
That's scary. Good morning.
Good morning.
Every year for the past 4 years, we have taken our entire team to the Jeff Glover Summit. That's been in Orlando and it's been in Arizona. And I always love going in January because it's such a great way to kick off the new year. I feel like we get tons of information and it's a bunch of tactical takeaways. And so Dara said, hey, will you come back and share some of your favorite things? And it was kind of hard to pick a favorite. But I don't know if you guys are seeing this. I am seeing a massive shift from a lot of buyer interest to a lot of seller interest. Is anybody else feeling that? Yes, I do see some heads shaking. This is, now y'all might be like, Nikki, that's old hat. We signed 18 listing agreements in the month of January, which is like people saying, okay, I'm ready to start letting go of my 2.75, 3.5% interest rate and make a move, which I don't know about y'all, that excites me to no end. Because if you guys heard Jason last week, 2026, I believe, is going to be off the chain with people, pent-up demand, ready to make a move. So out of all the sessions that we heard Jeff talk about, he shared his 11 skills of top listing agents. And so that's what I wanted to bring back with you. We have talked about it in the team. We've broken it down. We've gone over it. So I'm also going to be sharing with you some of the things that we've talked about within our team, lessons that we've learned with regards to what he said. So if you guys are ready to dive in, we'll get started. Number 1, determine seller communication style and quickly adapt. So how many of you know where you land on the DISC profile? You're either a D, I, an S, or a C. I will tell you, if you don't know this about yourself, you can find a free and you can determine your communication style and your natural tendencies. I am a high S. So if you know what that means, I like to develop relationship. I care about if I hurt your feelings. I care about if you hurt my feelings. And so that means when I'm going to a listing appointment, what is the one thing I want to most do? Anybody know? Build a rapport. Build a rapport. You got it. So I've got my marketing material. I've got my binder. I've got my comps. I've got all my stuff. And if I walk up to the house and there's lines in the carpet and everything is neat as a pin and nothing is out of place, what kind of personality style am I probably most dealing with? A super high C. What do they care about? Details. They care about the data. And so they may care less about developing rapport with me and more about what do the numbers tell them. If I walk into their house and there's piles of stuff all over and they're like, look, I got 15 minutes, I got a meeting I got to be at. They pull out a chair and they show me to sit down. What kind of personality style is that? That's a D. Do they really care about my mama used to live in this neighborhood 15 years ago?
Nope.
No, they don't. What do they want to know? They want to know the bottom line. And so one of the best things that we can do as listing agents is quickly adapt to the seller's communication style. Because if we are not able to do that, we are likely to not leave and earn their business. Does that resonate with you guys? So on the team, we talked through this and I asked if anybody would be willing to share a time when they knew that they lost a listing because they did not do this. And one of our agents raised her hand and she said, yeah, I'll share. She said, I was actually meeting with the husband and the wife. And she said, I made the mistake of thinking that I knew who the decision maker was. And she said, so I honed in to that person's communication style and I only focused on them. And she said, I left. She said, I did a great job. I developed rapport and we were on it. She said, but then I left and figured out that I developed and adapted to the wrong person at the table. So that was a nugget I had never thought about. You know, you have to adapt to both people's and try to do a good job of balancing that. So number one, determine seller communication style quickly and adapt. Jamie, who's in the room, thank you, Jamie, for being here. She said oftentimes you can get those details on the phone. If somebody wants to get off the phone quickly when you're doing your pre-qualification, you might even be able to get ideas of what communication style they are when you're doing your pre-qualifying. Number two, go 3 questions deep on what really, really matters. Surface answers rarely reveal their true motivation. And so asking deeper questions gets you to the bottom of what really matters. So another example of this, I want a local expert. Well, what do you guys think about that? I mean, are we local experts in Beaufort? Yes or no?
Yes.
Are we local experts in Swanee?
Yes.
What about Flowery Branch?
Sure.
Sure. Yeah. So what's important about that? We don't know, do we? Is it because you know the schools? Is it because you know all the back roads to get to the parks? Like, what's important about that? So the seller indicated they wanted a local expert. My agent said, okay, I got that. I'm a local expert. But ultimately, at the end of the day, she didn't go 3 questions deep on why that actually mattered. Legislation happening in the city. Do you know about it? So she did not get the listing because she did not ask the questions about why being a local expert mattered to that seller. So sometimes, and I've been guilty of it too, taking for granted that surface answer. It's like, oh, I got that. Like, I know that. I can do that. You're moving to Florida? Okay, great. Yep, got that. So going 3 questions deep, finding out the true motivation, because generally that first answer doesn't actually really reveal the motivation that they're actually is driving them. Number 3, buyers want to like you. Sellers want to respect you. Your buyers, I'm going to say this, buyers want to respect you also, but your sellers are hiring a business partner, not a friend. And so, you know, oftentimes when we're getting ready to show buyers for the first time, we get our snack bags, we get the MLS sheets, we get the pens, our clipboards, like we're headed out to have a really fun day, right? We want this searching for a home experience to be fun. Sellers are interviewing you for the job of representing them in what could be the largest financial transaction that they will ever do. So immediately they are looking for you to earn their respect. You guys, if you have ever heard me speak before, you know that all of our listing presentations, one of the very first pages is what's on the wall. It's the Y4C2Ts. And even if we're meeting with a D and I don't have time to go through all the spiel, I will always say, Mr. and Ms. Seller, trust begins with honesty. And so today, I'm going to be very, very honest with you because I want you to trust me as the professional that can guide you through this process. I'm going to tell you things that you need to hear, not necessarily what you want to hear. That comes back to pricing. It comes back to condition. It comes back to, are they even realistic about what's possible? And so earning the seller's respect is paramount. Number 4.
Number 3.
Say that again.
Number 3.
That was number 3. Don't get me off my numbers now. No. Top skill of listing agents in 2026 is they view rejection as feedback and not failure.
Say that again.
They view rejection as feedback and not failure. Every agent is going to lose out on a listing. And it's what you do with that feedback that makes you better that really counts. And I just made a note. I said rejection isn't personal, but improvement is. And I asked the team, I said, has there been a time when you've lost a listing And you know for certain that the feedback that you got has made you a better listing agent. And everybody at the table raised their hand and they were like, absolutely. Personally, I will share that I went on a listing appointment one day and I was just sharing with the seller about some small things that I thought we might see in an inspection report. Because I don't know about you guys, I always kind of like to prepare them for that. Well, when she called me to tell me that she chose another agent, she said, I'm going to be quite honest with you. You trashed my house. You know, that S came out to me. I was like, oh my gosh, like she's mad at me. She thinks I trashed her house. Her house was actually gorgeous. She had a lovely home. And what I learned from that experience was that I needed to choose better words. I needed to choose a different approach because what she heard from me is that your house stinks. You've done a terrible job maintaining it. And I don't know why anybody would ever want to buy it. Which was not at all what I was trying to convey. But from that experience, I was like, okay, I've got to come up with a better way to present when I feel like a seller might be getting some possible objections, especially she was resistant to doing some things. So I took that as an opportunity to improve because let's be honest, and I'm going to tell you, like, I've done this a million times. I've sat in my office and I've been like, I don't know why they didn't pick me. Like, I did a really good job. I mean, like, do they know that, like, I don't even know if that agent like knows how to say Buford or tequila. No, like, really?
Question.
Or Houston. Houston. It's not Houston. We can all get in our own victim mindset when we feel rejection. But if we take it as an opportunity to grow and learn, we will be better off for it. And ultimately, at the end of the day, there is enough business for all of us to make a wonderful living. So I've gotten to the point where I'm like, okay, I'm happy for that other person. Like, Lord Jesus, make me happy for that other person. And you learn something that will make me grow and improve. So view rejection as feedback and not failure. Number 5, every day is a job interview. This is a big one, you guys, because you never know who's watching. You never know who's going to refer you. You never know what opportunities are going to present themselves to you on any given day. And Jeff always says that he always dresses for what he wants, not for what his calendar says. And I love that. And so I'm going to tell you guys a really quick story. We have some actual agents in this office that have come alongside us and helped us out with our couriering opportunities because we have a need a lot of times for signs and lock boxes to be run, marketing things to be run. And so we are so blessed that some of you have partnered with us. But those of you that have partnered with us are also showing houses, you're doing your own businesses. And so we need a bench of people who are available to help us with this. So anyway, you guys know that I do some shopping sometimes, occasionally, from time to time. And I do like to shop at Target because I have a 360 Circle member. And so I can get something on my door like in 2 hours, which is really cool. And so sometimes I place a Target order and you can set preferred shoppers. And my preferred shopper's name is Anthony. And so anytime I place an order on Target, I get a little text, hey, Nikki, Anthony's starting your order. And every time Anthony pulls up to my house when I'm home, he has a really nice car. He's dressed in the 3/4 zip. He's always got on nice pants. He communicates. He's like, hey, Nikki, I'm shopping for your order. Hey, they're out of this, but they've got this. Hey, have a great day. Thank you for the opportunity to do this. Like, he's such a nice guy. I've never met him. I've seen him out my window, really dressed nice. And so I was literally laying in bed one night thinking, how do I solve for being able to always have somebody available? And I thought, man, I wish I could figure out how to get a hold of Anthony. Because like if Anthony does this for Target, maybe he would do it for us. He's always dressed really nice. He communicates great. And so I told Laurel, I said, I need to figure out how to find Anthony. And she's like, well, let's place a Target order. And I said, that's a great idea.
We're waiting on it.
So we placed a Target order to go to our BRG office in Buford, and darn it, Anthony didn't get the order. I said, shoot. So I placed another one later that day to go to my house. And sure enough, Nikki, Anthony's starting your order. So I shut my computer down. I drove home to where I live. And Anthony got to my house and I said, hey, Anthony, I know this is weird. I know you've never met me. I'm Nikki. I run a real estate team in Beaufort and you are always like so nice and so kind. And I thought maybe if you do this for Shipt, you might want to do it for our team. Well, long story short, we hired Anthony. But so here's the deal. He dressed and showed up for the opportunity he wanted, not necessarily for the opportunity he had. So you just never know who's watching through the window, what neighbor is watching you knock on doors.
That sounds creepy, Nikki.
I mean, it worked.
You have parking spaces in front of it.
Truly. But all that to say, people are always watching. They're watching you on social media. They're watching you interact in the office, in the workplace, in your community. If you've got kids that play sports, they're watching you on the ball field. Like people are always watching and you're always on a job interview. And so you just never know where your next appointment, your next opportunity is going to come from. Number 6, respect the seller's time at the highest level. So I just made a little note, efficiency signals competence. So show up on time. If you ever heard Diana Kokoska go in bold, she was like, knocked on the door. Hello, Mr. Seller, it's 2 o'clock and we had an appointment at 2 o'clock. So just reaffirming, I am here, I'm here to respect your time. Most sellers want to know that working with you will not be a waste of their time, but a good use of their time. So respect the seller's time at the highest level. Number 7, be direct. I have a client that traveled the world working for IBM. He used to speak in conferences. And when we were negotiating a deal on his house, we kept getting vague signals from the other side. And he said, Nikki, he said, clear is kind. Clear is kind. Clear communication is just kindness. When you set clear expectations, when you give direct information, it's just kind. And one of our agents raised her hand and she said, you know, I lost a listing by not being direct. And I said, what do you mean? And she said, well, she said, I was being honest. She said, but I wasn't being direct. She said, the seller was going through a super hard time in her life. And she said, I knew it. And I showed up empathetic to her situation. She said, there were some things she needed to do in her house. She was aware of it. And she said, but I wasn't being straightforward and direct. She said, I was tiptoeing around the conversation. She said, I was like, well, you know, maybe you can do this and you can do that. And I mean, I know that you're going through this really hard time and probably you should do this. And the seller called her and said, hey, I thank you for your time, but I chose another agent. And she said, honestly, you know, I am going through this really hard time and I just need somebody to shoot me straight. I just need somebody to tell me exactly what I need to do and walk me through this process because I actually don't need to waste time. I just got to get through it. And so she said, I was shocked. She said, and that really taught me something because I was telling her the truth, but I wasn't doing it in just a direct, straightforward way. And so that was really important for me to hear because I'm one of those people that, because I'm a high S, I don't want to hurt people's feelings. I want to be sensitive to what they're going through. I would probably also try to tiptoe around it, but clear is kind, be direct.
That's kind of a direct conflict with the other situation you had where you were direct and you told her what the problems were and she didn't pick you because you trust her house.
And so that was for me a language thing. I think that my words, I think I could have chosen better language.
Okay.
And so in that situation where she thought I trashed her house, I think that what I learned in that situation was I didn't have really good scripts in place.
Okay.
Because I've since learned, and that was early on, I've since learned to kind of walk around and listen to some context clues about their house and take clues about how to have a discussion with them based on that.
Okay.
And so I think that's the difference between those two situations. So I had to change my approach and listening first and then giving suggestions in the words that I used to give those suggestions. This lady was just like, I know my situation and like, I'm aware of it. So just like, tell me what I gotta do. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, 100%.
But you're right.
Yeah.
They do seem to be in a little bit of conflict. Number 8 is they hold every listing accountable to 2 transactions. So you guys know, you've seen the triangle: listings, leads, and leverage. When you have listings, you get leads, which provides leverage. So when you have a listing opportunity, when you have a seller, what are some things that you can do to hold that listing accountable to a second transaction? Open houses, yes. What else?
What's bad?
Voice pad, yes. What else? Door knocking, what else?
Girls.
Referrals, yes. What else?
Circle prospecting.
Circle prospecting, what else?
Social media.
Family, I heard social media, yes. Just listed, just sold. So we've just named what, 8, 9 ways? I've seen Thea does a great job. Thea, I hope you don't mind I call you out. I'm at my great listing, this house, this is so amazing. And then she'll pop back on and now it's sold or now it's under contract. I mean, just think about all the different videos you could do around one house. It's coming soon. Now it's live. Do you want to take a look? Now we're having an open house. Oh, by the way, it just went under contract. Now it's sold and the sellers are super happy. A month later, hey, we had some buyers that really wanted to move into this neighborhood. They didn't get the chance. Do you want to sell? 6 videos around one house. And so just making sure that you hold every listing accountable to at least 2 transactions. All right, this one's a doozy. They have 3 responses to common seller objections. What are common seller objections, y'all?
Price.
Price.
Compensation.
Compensation, yes.
Interest rate.
Yes. I don't want to let my interest rate go, yes. All right, so anybody ever heard this one? I want to list higher so I have room for negotiation.
Yeah.
You heard that one lately? So I completely understand where you're coming from. Mr. Seller, nobody wants to leave money on the table. And the challenge is that pricing too high front can actually shrink the number of serious buyers who see your home as a real option. As the home sits, it starts to raise questions, and actually, days on market is the enemy to your home's value. Okay, well, I mean, I just think in this market that nobody offers full price. You guys hear that back sometimes? Mr. Seller, that is a fair point. And I would agree with you that buyers do feel like they're getting a deal. They want to feel like they're getting a deal. But here's what we're seeing in today's market. When a home is priced just right, it attracts more attention, and that attention turns into competition. And when buyers compete, they often come in at or above listing price because they don't want to lose the home. I just don't want to price it where I don't have room, and then I'm going to be the one doing all the giving. You guys heard that back? Has anybody had this conversation with a seller before?
Only in days ending in Y.
So every day, yes. So, Mr. Seller, I hear you. And my goal is to set the stage so that you have the leverage. When buyers, bless you, when buyers see a home that is well priced and desirable, they move faster and come in stronger. And that puts you in the driver's seat. On the flip side, if we list high and have to chase the market down later, that's when buyers start asking for concessions. So instead of giving up ground later, we position your home now to attract real offers, and then we negotiate from a position of strength. Okay? So all day, every day, the team is like, everybody wants to list high. You get it all the time. I want to list high because nobody makes a full price offer. And yet, when you list a home appropriately, what are we still seeing today sometimes? Multiple offers. Yes, ma'am.
What if it says, I'm not in a rush to sell. So if I can sell it for $1 million, it's okay. I can sell it later. How do you come against me?
I go back to, you know what? I understand that you're not in a hurry, and I just go back to that days on market. It's my favorite. And by the way, this is Jeff Glover. Days on market is the enemy to your home's value. Can I explain what that means? Let me ask you this, Mr. Seller, have you ever been on, let's say Zillow, and looked at a home? Have you looked at a home? Okay. Do you ever scroll down and see how long that home has been on the market? Okay. So have you ever seen that a home has been on the market maybe 40, 50, 60 days and thought, oh, overpriced. So now there's room to do what? Negotiate.
Or something's wrong with it.
Or something's wrong with it. So, Mr. Seller, a buyer is going to look at your home the exact same way. We overprice your home now and it sits on the market. Buyers are going to simply see it as an overpriced home sitting on the market. They might favorite it on Zillow. They might heart it, but what they're simply doing is watching it and waiting for you to lower the price and then lower the price again and then lower the price again. So, have you guys had recently a seller ask you, my home has this many saves, what does that mean? It means they're watching for you to lower the price. That's exactly what it means. All right, so compensation. So what is your compensation? So you answer the question. But I thought they were what? Negotiable. You are absolutely right. They are. And so is the level of service, marketing, investment strategy, and professionalism, and ultimately results. See, what I have found that agents discount their fee, often have to cut corners somewhere else, and that will cost you more in the long run. Yeah, but the last agent we interviewed said that they would negotiate their commission. So, I mean, why won't you? Well, I appreciate your question. And let me ask you this. If an agent is quick to negotiate their own commission, how are they going to perform when it's time to negotiate on your home and your money? Well, I mean, if we don't sell at full asking price, then will you reduce your commission? Have you guys gotten that question before? Mm-hmm. I understand your question, but here's the bottom line. My commission isn't based on the asking price. It's based on the final sale. And my job is to maximize that number for you, regardless of where we start. At the end of the day, it isn't about how much I make, it's about how much you keep. What are you guys seeing in the commission negotiation conversations these days? Are you having these conversations? Mm-hmm. Gary?
Yes,
And?
and I try to stick to, well, I do stick to my guns, the 3%, and I do explain agents that are quick to reduce their commission are cutting corners somewhere else. And then we get to the buyer agent part. And I say the same thing, it's negotiable. But I'm seeing every single deal that comes in, no matter what we advertise as commission, they're asking for 3%.
They're just going to.
So
And ultimately, at the end of the day, does your seller have the opportunity to negotiate that piece? Yes. Absolutely, yes. We can prepare them. Look, every offer that you receive, the other agent's going to ask for what? They're going to ask for their full, what they believe is a full compensation. It is your right to negotiate that piece back if you want to counter that. So here's the deal, you guys. You stick to what you know to be what you bring to the table, your value. Are commissions negotiable?
Yes.
100%. Might a seller have to be in a situation where they attempt to negotiate compensation on the other side and the buyer walks?
Yes.
Yes. When they get the next offer, will they repeat that same thing? Hopefully not. Not usually. Hopefully not. Here's the thing. We have to toe the line. Compensation is always negotiable. You've got to stand firm for what you know to be true about the value that you bring. And then exactly what you said, Gary, you've got to present it to them. It is negotiable, I will always negotiate for your best interest. I will negotiate to keep your net the highest I can, protect your bottom line. You make suggestions and they make what?
Decisions.
Decisions. There you go. Three, number 9, that was 3 responses to common seller objections.
Question real quick. on that?
Yes,
Are you, something we brought up the other day, with our systems class was that if you're trying to encourage or say, about like offering buyer agent compensation, that the seller was getting like upset, like you weren't in their corner. Like, are you running into that as well? Like that they're, even if you're just presenting it to them, like, this is what we're seeing, or this is, offering a buyer agent compensation, it's gonna come up in the offer anyway, let's have this discussion. What are you seeing around that when you're doing your listing appointments?
I have not seen a lot of sellers being frustrated by that. What I do when it's at all possible, and I'm not able to do it every time, especially if I know and have worked with another agent, I will call the agents who represented the buyer in a closed transaction. And I will ask, do you mind sharing if the seller paid your compensation? Because if I can go to them with comps and say, seller paid compensation, then I can show that in the marketplace in your area with recently closed sales, seller was willing to pay compensation. I don't always have time to do that because that is a lot of legwork.
Right.
I have found the best success though in just sharing with the seller that it is highly usual, can't say standard, highly usual to receive offers in which the buyer's agent asks the seller to participate in compensation. We have not been getting a ton of frustration, like we're not trying to protect them, which is what I think I'm hearing you say.
And that's what I heard. I was surprised at that too. I heard that in our class the other day. Yeah.
I mean, I'll add to that.
Yeah, please.
I just think that it goes back to your job is to try to get them the highest price and best contract for their house. And if they're not, the agents are gonna call and ask, is the seller paying commission to the buyer agent? And if you say no, then the likelihood of them showing your house is probably not gonna happen. So you're gonna have less people showing your house because less buyers are able to pay their own commission along with your down payment and closing costs. So the less agents that show your house, the longer it sits on the market, the lower price, you'll probably get. So the higher, if you do offer compensation, you're more likely to get a stronger contract and a higher offer. I mean, so it kind of goes back to, I think, trying to maximize the price they'll sell their house for.
Something, and look, there's all different practices around this. I'm going to disclaimer this, okay? But something that we have been doing for a while now is there is the section where it talks about compensation. You can offer the seller the option to not initially offer compensation, but be open to offers in which compensation is requested. And so when a seller is at all unsure if they want to commit to, I definitely will offer this amount to a co-oping agent. And you can say, look, we don't have to commit to a number right now. I'm going to prepare you right here, right now, that every offer you receive is likely going to have X amount of compensation requested in the offer. But if you want to leave yourself open because you want to negotiate, then we can mark this. And we will tell agents when they call in, the seller is not offering a specific amount of compensation, but they are absolutely open to offers in which compensation is requested. And we've had a lot of sellers that are like, okay, I feel comfortable with that because they feel like they are in the driver's seat of being able to negotiate, but they're not like 100% locked into offering a specific number right off the bat. And so if you have somebody that is feeling a little uneasy about that, that is one way that we've also handled that.
So we've had a couple of things come up recently, and it's been more about explaining that the terms of it, right? Like the full picture. I'm getting to your net number, but I think it's the education piece of it where I've had people go, okay, well, what about the commission? That's great. Do you understand all the other pieces that go into the numbers about repairs, about this, about that, like all of the steps that go into it? And then when I start to explain that, the commission agreement part just kind of folds into, oh, I've just heard commission. That's all I need to worry about. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Versus, oh, I've got to think about repairs. I've got to think about closing costs. I've got to think about, these various other costs that are coming into this. And I think to your point, Amy, like, it's just the net number of it all.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, but for us, it's been the education piece of just explaining the big picture of it all.
And you're doing a net sheet, I'm sure, with just like what you can expect. And this goes back to number, what is it? 6, you guys? Be direct, clear as kind. Like sellers just want a clear picture. They just want clear expectations. And so, doing the net sheets, helping them understand what's to come, that is absolutely brilliant on your part, because ultimately they just don't want any surprises when you go to present the offer. Well, I wasn't expecting this, or I wasn't expecting that. So absolutely. Any more comments on that before we move on? Number 10, maintain.
Something not here, I think.
You said there were 3 points. I only had the 2, which was pricing and compensation.
3 responses. I had 3 responses to common objections. We talked about 2 objections. Maintain, number 10 is maintain. Did I say 3 points? Okay.
I would say have 3.
Yes, I have 3 yes. Maintain discipline and follow-up is number 10. So silence is not rejection. If you guys know Sandy Baker, she's over in the Sugarloaf office. I listened to her talk one time, and she was talking about her role in calling internet leads. And she said, whenever I go into the office and I'm preparing to make calls, she said, I just tell myself that I know that I'm going to talk to myself all day long. And that was her mindset, that silence was not rejection. And I made a note that said, follow-up is service, not pressure. Because I don't know if any of you have ever thought, I don't want to bug this person. Have any of you guys ever thought that? I don't want to bug them. And so, but what happens is you have to realize that the same measure of follow-up that you are doing to try to connect with the seller and earn that opportunity is the same measure of follow-up and communication that they're going to experience with you once you've earned their business. And so you are not bugging them, you are demonstrating for them the level of service that they are going to receive once they choose to work with you. We recently had a gentleman who registered on our website, and he was talking with Jenny, if any of you know Jenny on our team, and he said, your voice sounds like AI. And she said, oh, I'm not AI, I'm a real person. And he said, I don't believe you. She said, no, I promise you, I'm a real person. And so this went on for a couple days, and he finally said, okay, I'll talk, no BS. So they connected, they finally agreed on a time to talk. And she said, okay, I'm going to get straight to the point. We are a real estate team, and we're actually in Buford. It is hilarious. That's become our slogan around the office. I'll talk, no BS. But all of that to say, she continued to follow up and continue to follow up. And she finally was able to set an appointment with this guy. So following up is a service, not pressure. And we have to prove that we're not AI sometimes. Okay. That's all I can see Jenny going, no, really, I mean, yeah, real. I'll talk, no BS. All right, number 11, last one, we're gonna bring it home. Number 11, top skill of agents who will win listing properties in 2026 is they don't reduce their fees to get the listing. And we kind of already talked about this in the compensation objection. But fee objections come from a place of uncertainty.
Did you
Discount.
tell everybody that, like everybody, like everybody.
Yes.
Just take out a billboard.
I was gonna say, you want me to do a billboard?
Yes, please do.
Honestly, you guys, discounting your service doesn't build loyalty. Leadership does. So if you walk in there like the leader that you are in this industry, that is what will build loyalty with your clients. So thank you for the opportunity to share today. I love talking about this stuff and let's get it 2026.